In Austin, I'm Mark Mullins. In Texas, more than 224,000 federal workers could be impacted by this government shutdown. And now the Central Texas Food Bank CEO says demand could rise by roughly 10%. Adam Bennett shows us the impact it could have on thousands of people.
In January of 2019, food pantries like this one in Buda saw higher demand.
I did get several new families that had not ever been to a food bank before.
As did their partner, the Central Texas Food Bank, during the 35-day government shutdown. It was the longest in U.S. history.
We felt like we needed to do something.
The food bank held distribution events for furloughed federal workers.
Really, during the first 2 weeks after that first paycheck is missed is where we'll start to see folks line up for support.
President and CEO Sari Vatsky worked at a different food bank during that last shutdown. There, she saw the biggest need after the 1-month mark.
Seeing, TSA workers, military folks in uniform having to come to the food bank for support for the first time is definitely not something that you're prepared to see.
Then there's the future of benefits from SNAP and WIC, two food assistance programs. Vatsky told me from her understanding, those will still be available through October.
Any orders placed through the USDA commodities program prior to the shutdown are still set to be delivered, but it's really that post 1-month mark that it becomes critical for us to monitor situations for both the neighbors we serve and food bank programs.
Vatsky's plan now, meet people in need where they are, whether that's at military bases or airports. The food bank will also work to stockpile extra food to meet the need, no matter how high it climbs.
That was Adam Bennett reporting. If you want to help the Central Texas Food Bank, you can donate through their website or volunteer at any additional distribution events. Their CEO is promising to meet the need, but says they'll need community support now more than ever. October is Fentanyl Poisoning Awareness Month here in Texas. Governor Greg Abbott signed a proclamation for it. The goal is to raise awareness about the dangers of fentanyl so that lives can be saved. He's reminding everyone about his One Pill Kills campaign. It warns that drug dealers are selling pills and people are taking them without knowing they're laced with fentanyl. Small amounts of the addictive drug can kill a person. According to data from the state, between July of 2023 and the end of June 2024, there were 2,100 fentanyl poisoning-related deaths in Texas. That number was nearly cut in half for the next 12 months, with 1,200 fentanyl poisoning-related deaths. With quick action, people can be saved from opioid overdoses. Earlier this year, Texas launched an online interactive map that shows where Texans can get Narcan, also known as naloxone. It can save someone's life by reversing an opioid overdose. Some nonprofits give it out for free. You could also find it sold at some pharmacies. The legal battle over a Texas death row inmate is intensifying as its execution date looms. Robert Robertson was convicted of killing his 2-year-old daughter in 2003. Parents' rights advocates gathered at the state capitol to call for the case to be re-examined. Daniel Perot has more.
On the steps of the Texas Capitol, state lawmakers, pro-life groups, and parental rights advocates speaking out about Robert Robertson's case.
What's happening here in Robertson's case is not an isolated tragedy. It's a systemic failure.
The group spoke about false allegations of child abuse by doctors and parental rights in the end-of-life decisions. All issues, they say, pertain to Robertson's case and many others across the state.
He was immediately suspected of child abuse with no alternative explanations investigated. And it was determined that his rights didn't matter.
Robert Robertson has been on death row since 2003 when he was convicted in the death of his 2-year-old daughter, Nikki. Prosecutors said she died from shaken baby syndrome. Robertson supporters say since then, that science has been discredited.
Texas is this close to executing a man on a theory that is at best as shaky as it gets, and at worst, complete and total nonsense.
Robertson's attorneys say Nikki died of severe pneumonia the doctors missed. Her illness progressed to sepsis and then septic shock, exacerbated by the medications she was prescribed.
This is exculpatory evidence because it counters this whole narrative that there was some beating.
It's evidence Robertson's lawyers have detailed in multiple appeals to the Texas Court of Criminal Appeals and in a new federal court filing Wednesday. So far, the efforts to get a new trial have not been successful.
And if the objective medical evidence that still exists, they think is strong enough, they can try the case. We think we can prove his innocence.
As Robertson's legal team waits for answers, the 2-decade-long fight to save him from the execution chamber could be in its final days. His longtime attorney fighting back tears.
This was a gift not just to Robert. It was a gift to the state of Texas and the integrity of our judicial system.
Daniel Perot with that story. Throughout his previous appeals, the state has maintained the evidence behind his conviction still stands. He is set to be executed on October 16th. The city of Austin officially rolling out its new controversial $1 million logo. Now you'll start seeing variations of a blue and green A on a lot more city property. Departments like Austin Water, Austin Energy, the Public Library, and Public Health have all started using them online. Before now, hundreds of city agencies had separate logos. City leaders said that made it confusing for people to know who they were dealing with. Staff plan to swap logos on some city property as items age out, so some old branding may stick around for a while. Logos for first responders like police, fire, and EMS will not change. Some of the Austin airport's busiest days of the year are usually around ACL. So for the next 2 weeks, Friday, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday are expected to be incredibly busy days for the airport.
We want our travelers to get here with plenty of time in case something like that happens. You know, traffic around the area on Highway 71 is sometimes inevitable. And so we want people to get here at the terminal 2.5 hours if they're flying domestically and 3 hours if they're flying internationally. So they have time to find a parking spot, to check that bag, to do whatever activities they need to do pre-TSA screening.
And first responders are boosting security ahead of ACL this weekend. We got a look at the plans during a news conference. APD leaders say they'll boost staffing around the festival, and every first responder within a certain radius of Zilker Park will be dedicated to ACL. So officials believe they will have the staffing to respond to a variety of situations.
Just like we do for South by Southwest, we geofence Zilker Park, so we sort of make a little city within a city, and all of the resources that are at ACL are meant for ACL. So any incident that happens inside the park or in the perimeter is going to get those dedicated units.
APD also says airspace is being restricted around Zilker Park. Those are the headlines in Austin. I'm Mark Mullins.